Namaste and welcome back to Mindful Serenity Yoga. I know I'm sitting kind of in a silhouette with the light behind me, and that might be a good thing considering that I don't look all that attractive these days. Not that I ever did, but I have been not feeling 100%, and I think it's showing in my appearance. Regardless, that is so unimportant in the big scheme of things, is it not? I am here today to talk a little bit about, again, the parable of Martha and Mary. It's something I seem to keep coming back to because it feels like I have within me two of these entities, one Martha, one Mary, constantly competing to get my attention, constantly competing to be dominant in my response to life. Now, Martha, of course, is going to be our very reactive persona. That part of us that feels like she or it or has to do in order to be productive, to keep up with society standards, be, successful, well-recognized, praised, dependent on the good opinion of others, etc., etc., etc. And Mary, on the other hand, is that wise part of ourselves that lies within, not necessarily at the core at first, but it is the core of us, where we are aware that we're so much more than these personas or these psyches that we've created based on our preferences, based on our need to be comfort, going around deciding what's going to make us comfortable and grabbing for that and clinging to that, and going around deciding what's going to make us uncomfortable and doing our best to resist and push that away. And of course, when we push that away, where do we push it? We push it deep down inside us, and it becomes those nasty tangled knots that the yogis refer to as samskaras. So Mary is, not that she doesn't have samskaras, I'm sure, but she is in the process of allowing those samskaras to be released as she sits at the feet of Jesus, the wise master who has transcended all this ego stuff. And Jesus says to her in the parable, he says to Martha, actually, he growls Martha for being so busy and doing and for complaining about Mary not doing enough. And he says that Martha is too busy doing while Mary has chosen wisely, and she's the one that is doing what is necessary, the only thing that's really important, by being willing to open up and be more conscious rather than escaping into the world out there. So she's an inner being, Martha is the outer being. So I'm dealing with that now, like I said, because I have these two entities. It seems to be bumping around inside me, scrabbling like a couple of young siblings, like I did with my own siblings growing up, trying to be said, trying to be heard, trying to be the one that's in charge and in control, the one that's right. I woke up yesterday with this wonderful realization as I lay in the bed, and I have these all the time, and these are just amazing, and I don't even know where they're coming from, but I was just laying there, and beautiful light was coming into the window. It's a beautiful April weather we've been having, and I just said, and I knew I wasn't going to work that day because I was scheduled to work with my grandson, and as I lay there I just thought, oh my gosh, I don't need anything from this outer world. I don't need to work. I don't need to stay home and not work. I don't need to do this and I don't need to do that, but I don't have to not do either. I don't need to be sad and upset about things, and I don't need to be happy about things. I don't need a relationship, though I'm happy I have one, and I don't need to be outside a relationship. I don't need to be around people, and at the same time I don't need to be alone. It was like this wonderful realization that it's not about what I do or where I am. It's how much energy and how much willingness I am dedicating towards opening up and becoming more and more aware of my own awareness, of becoming more centered. So when I had that realization, I just said, well, it's just like life. It doesn't matter what happens out there. It doesn't, all that stuff that I used to be so busy and worried about, or as Jesus says, you're worried and upset about many things. He says that to Martha. But there's only one thing that you need to be concerned about, and that is your own awakening. Well, paraphrase, of course. So I was like, all these things I used to be so worried and upset about just didn't seem so important anymore. And the thing I'm dealing with right now, again, is another, I don't know if you call it an aggravation of physical health issue that I have, but it has been quite limiting and quite in my face, I guess. And I'm finding that I can't put the quotation around, do the things that I feel not only that I want to do, but that I should be doing to keep up with society's expectations, and that is work. And I'm almost tempted to push myself past these symptoms, push whatever they are, and I don't even know what the cause of them are. I'm assuming it's just a pulled muscle, but it could be cardiac and anyway. And I'm trying to push myself past that, or I'm tempted to push myself past that. I'm being the Martha that's scurrying around, busy, yelling at Mary for not getting up and helping out more. And, I have things to do. I got to please people. I've got to whatever. So I've been feeling that way today. But yesterday I woke up as Mary, and today I woke up as Martha. I was supposed to work, and calls came in. It was a wonderful opportunity. But this would not let me. I even got up and walked out and said, okay, I'm going to see, and I was just going to see if I can do it. And by the time I got to the kitchen table, I knew otherwise, and I had to say I wasn't available. And I just felt so reactive, so hard on myself for not being more of a Martha. I was being a Martha, but I felt more that, not that I wasn't doing more and accomplishing more as Martha would. And because part of me was still very much Mary who doesn't want to necessarily work. It's not that she doesn't want to work, it's just that she doesn't see the need to work. She wants to write. She wants to focus on her spiritual evolution and on what she considers to be really important. So I was struggling between those two entities today. And I think I feel a little bit more like Mary now, and that's what made me come here, because I think that's going to happen to all of us. We are going to struggle with these two entities. We're going to struggle with our need to do, and we're going to struggle with our need to be. And I do believe the more I allow myself to be Mary and to Martha up just a bit, not that she isn't important and she doesn't deserve a say, it's just that we do not need to follow everything Martha says and does within our minds. So as I get closer to being Mary, I feel a certain peace again, a certain surrendering, a certain letting go, a certain relaxing into what is. And that's what Mary does. She relaxes into what is. She doesn't need to to scurry around. It's just so she gets the praise of Christ. She sits at his feet and she listens to his major teaching about, becoming one with God, with the source of all that is, which is our consciousness, which is our awareness of our own awareness. Someday Martha's going to learn from her sister. I'm confident of that. And someday I'm going to be the more dominantly Mary than I am Martha. Right now I'm struggling between the two. I think I'm probably more dominantly Mary. But I keep falling back into Martha. And every time I fall back into Martha, I feel, oh gosh, I'm losing it again. But this is what this journey is all about. It's, we're going to take a step forward, take a couple steps backward. But if our willingness is to stay open, to listen to those teachings that Christ shared about what's really, really important, there's only one thing one thing we need to focus on. And all other things will fall into place. And that is becoming aware of our own awareness. We are not these psyches we think we are, with all these problems and all this need to do, this need to push away and this need to pull in. Those are just self-concepts we created. We are the one in the background, watching and listening and observing without judgment, without preference. We just have to fall back into that self. That's our Mary. Anyway, I thought I would share that for some reason. I'm hoping you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining in. Namaste.